We're going to talk about the wow effect around fulfilling consumer expectations. The wow effect, how can you optimize plant-based products to fulfill consumer expectations? Here to talk about it, we have Jérôme Raudin, Global Platform Director Modern Proteins at Symrise AG. And Jérôme is almost ready to enter, but we still have like 2 chairs left on our stage. Thankfully and hopefully we shall be ready in no time. Thank you, sir. And let's welcome Jérôme with applause, please. And it's all yours for the next 15 minutes. Enjoy.
Thanks a lot. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here with you. I've seen many faces familiar today, so I think that's the joy to be here. And I hope you enjoy the show today. I think one important aspect I want to speak about today, when it comes to plant-based and further alternative protein product, I think we have to realize that today as an industry, we just cannot fulfill consumer expectation. So that's a key challenge for the industry, and I will explain a bit how at Symrise we can help with this. Obviously, most of you will know with Symrise, beyond the big numbers, you know, a €5 billion company, we have really innovation anchor in our roots since the creation of the company. And we have a very high focus on sustainability and circular economy. But beyond this, what you perhaps don't know, we have also put in place an incubation group. I'm part of this group looking after all type of alternative protein environment. And at Symrise, within this group, we partner and invest with startups, I would say young companies, and what we look for is how to make food taste better and be healthier. So if you have any need, you can just contact me, and that's also valid for the financial investors. When we look at our approach, obviously starting with market and what consumer needs. I will start with something we have been hearing already today many times, and obviously beyond a growing population, food supply, which will face some difficulties going forward, there are some market dynamics that are shaping the world today. Obviously all environment concern, but also at the same time, I don't know if everyone realizes, it's how we are in a disruptive space coming to food. I think more is happening in the last few years and in the coming few years than in the last 50 years. And you can just think, for example, of precision fermentation that is coming at scale. So new technology will shape our world coming forward. Then, obviously, there are a changing world with many disruptions, from political difficulties. Inflation has been impacting a lot the industry in the last year coming to alternative protein. And the consumer behavior are changing, obviously. And what we put in the center is obviously health awareness is quite key going forward. How does it translate in consumer expectation? Obviously, people want to reduce animal origin diet. This is quite clear. We have heard this many times. And they want to contribute to the world making better choice and obviously have a positive impact on the environment. And when we speak consumer, obviously, it's the big part is the flexitarian. That's the main consumer going forward. So today, why consumers are buying plant-based, but you can expand to any type of new generation of protein, you know, from single cell or microalgae. Health, as we said, is a key driver. So how we can make choices that are better for us and better for the planet at the same time. But one thing we all know, and we should not forget, it's consumers are not ready to pay more. Price parity is fundamental, and even beyond price parity to be lower than animal origin product, that is essential. And the industry will grow. Question now, it has slowed down. It's not if it will grow, it's when it will grow. When is it that the big bang will happen? Is it next year, in 3 years, in 5 years? It will come. So at the end, when it comes to consumer, it's quite simple. People want to live more healthy, and obviously they just want to have product taste good, they are of good value for what they buy, and they are safe for them. Very simple. But the problem today, and if I give the perspective of augmented flavor house, we are far from there. There are still a lot of challenges, you know. I like to eat meat as well, and if I have a good steak, I'm like, wow, that's nice. Can I find back this in alternative protein? That's what I expect, but it's not the case today. A lot is obviously linked to the protein origin, which generates some off notes quite clearly. But also what we should not forget, it's all the nutritional aspect of those alternatives. We hear more and more people raising concern about this. Obviously, when it comes to alternative protein, the bioavailability is not to the point of equivalent from animal origin. There are a lot of additives as well that are not the most healthy. So this is something when we design the product that we should not forget about. It's really to make a product that have the right nutritional benefit. So that's what I'm going to dive in right now when it comes to the design phase when we look and call it at Symrise. So how can we design a product with better taste, nutrition, and health? That's the fundamental we have put together. I will deep dive first into how to build a recipe for a culinary application, typical meat alternative. Obviously, the protein is in the center. I will come back on this afterwards. And yes, we want to have better taste, texture, and visual appearance. But what we have put again in the center, it's obviously, when I see today, if I go to a show and I taste 10 different meat alternatives, I need a big glass of water, I can tell you, because if I look at the added salt, it's quite crazy. So when you design your recipe from the start, you really need to take those aspects into consideration. At Symrise, historically, we have a very strong focus in this area, and it's how we can help the industry. If you look again into a different area of dairy alternative, there are different areas and still a lot of challenges. I will just take one, which is the astringency of fermented product. Still a challenge for the industry. We can provide solution there, but it's difficult. We are part of the equation, and you can address it at different stage. But again, and I heard this today already, sugar level, fat content, I mean, it's beyond the roof. And when people think they will buy those products because it's healthy for them, the reality will catch up. And then we'll face a big issue. And we see a lot of brands, I think highly considered today, start to face some challenges from, let's say, influencer or consumer association. we presented one of our key tools at Symrise last year, but I thought was good to have a refresher. For the last 10 years, we have had a very strong focus on making analysis of different sources of proteins. It can go from the different legumes, cereals, and even further than this. Basically, we analyze them from a sensory perspective, and we create data points. From there, we can modelize the need on how to offset either the off notes of those proteins, but also how to design the flavor system to perform better into it. So you can say, a fancy word today would say, hey, we use AI, and AI would rely on the data point on the database we have created. We call it prediction model. This is quite essential. You know, if you look at a vanilla flavor, if you use it in a dairy application, will perform completely different in different matrix of alternative protein, and you need to design your flavor system in adequation to the need. So it's where we can really support the industry with the database we have developed across the years. Now, how we work with our partner. Obviously, we are working very closely with all the big CPGs, but we also, as I mentioned before, like to work with young companies where we can bring our competencies. We are a strategic investor, we are a strategic partner, and obviously we bring all our capabilities when it comes to the taste aspect. And we can help companies to develop products really fitting the consumer expectation from a flavor perspective, a taste perspective, but also from a nutritional perspective. And I have heard a lot about regulation. That's a big hurdle when it comes to innovation. Obviously, it's a big challenge for different companies and younger companies who don't have all the resources. At Symrise, we have the chance to have an extensive global network of experts in different areas, where obviously we can help companies to design the right product or have the right approach when it comes to regulation approval. I think I was quite fast, basically, but I think that was a quick overview, and I think as an industry there is a clear challenge, and we really need to work together to create products that will have the right taste and the right nutritional perspective, properties, so we can fulfill the consumer expectations. Thank you.